Welcome back to the Adventures of a Disney Dad podcast. My name is Matt Brandenburg, and I'm a dad of three and the founder of adventuresofaDisneyDad.com. I'm a travel agent with the Magic for Less Travel and your host. I'm joined by my co-host, as always, Chip Robinson, soon to be dad of five. I think we're at like 33 or 34 weeks. Chip, how is the wife? How are you doing? Tell us all about it.
I think we're like close to like 36, 35, 36 weeks. She's due in a little over a month, first week of January. We're doing well in the middle of the holidays ready. I mean, kids are getting ready. I've got one of my kids refuses.
My kids are the opposite. They are putting every single thing possible on their list right now. So it is growing to say the least. This week, we have a really fun episode planned. We are joined by a special guest, Jenny Moyer, founder of Taylor Joelle. Founded in 2006, Taylor Joelle is a kids' clothing company that strives to inspire pretend play with creative and sensory friendly dresses and kids' clothing. They have a ton of Disney inspired and Harry Potter licensed dresses and clothes for kids. They also have some stuff for adults. I personally have a Taylor Joelle Woody t-shirt that I love. And they take creative, imaginative play to a different level. It's a brand that our family absolutely loves, particularly for Disney and Universal vacations. The dresses are really comfortable for the kids. They're machine washable, great for long days in the theme parks. Jenny, that said, welcome to the show.
Thanks for
Oh,
having
thanks.
me.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. So, like, just to jump right into it,
Yeah.
I mentioned that Taylor Joelle started in 2006. For those that aren't familiar, how did you get started with Taylor Joelle?
Yeah. Well, I'm a mom of five. So hey, you're gonna have the five kid family. And I did not go to school for design or anything like that. It was education and I taught high school, but I really wanted to be home with the kids. And I was thinking, how can I make money from home? And obviously, I had some babies, and I was thinking that was my one track mind. I'm all thinking all things baby stuff. And so we started off with crib bedding sets. And so, yeah, that was hard. Garage full of crib bedding because they're big. I bought 200 of a design we had made, and we didn't have a good website. I sold one a day on eBay. So about 200 days later. And then I learned from that. I'm like, I don't want to stock something so big. Maybe we'll do baby blankets and then, oh, maybe some socks and shoes and things like that. So it just sort of evolved into clothing. Mhm.
When did you do your first dress?
Okay. It was probably a few years after that. This is a guess, so don't fact check me. I would say probably around 2010 is a guess. Mhm.
Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, it was a collection. It was called actually there could have been something we did before that which is kind of dressy. Remember, I don't know, maybe your wives would remember when petty skirts were big thing. Girls would wear like little suits and big petty skirts, or maybe your kids are too young and you didn't have kids when petty skirts were, but so we did that. And then, but our first actual, those we just kind of bought and sold. We picked colors, but our actual like design, it was a collection we called Peachy Keen. And it was like retro oranges and browns. And I was really excited about it. Yeah. Mhm.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Yeah. How did that evolve into where you are now with Disney inspired dresses and
Yeah.
the Harry Potter license?
So was a rocky road. It was, I mean, we weren't killing it. We were doing okay, but I think too we didn't have we weren't in a great place financially, and so I was treating myself like the ideal customer, and I wouldn't have bought anything full price. It had to be like Old Navy's 50% off sale and things like that. So I started with this model of put it on sale. And it needs to be cheap. What would I buy? And that wasn't a great approach. So it's been a rocky road. We were trying to figure it out. We had years where it was really high and my husband was like, quit his job and let's do this together. And then it's like, oh no, hun, go back to work. And then one as we were thinking, and I don't remember the exact thought, but we're like, let's do dresses inspired by princesses because it solves a problem. That's what we were missing. We were just doing cute clothes, but we didn't have a problem to solve. You can get cute clothes for cheaper than we were selling it at. So as soon as we solved a problem, and that problem was comfortable dress up clothes, but also, and we've kind of steered a little bit more away from that, but in the beginning it was very subtle. So it's like, hey, she can wear this to school. She can put that on at Target. Not that, hey, my kids wore full on dress up to Target, but they could wear this to church anywhere they're going, but still feel like, oh, I'm Rapunzel, and still feel that. So that was a problem I believe we solved, that they could live comfortably in this dress up, and then it kind of evolved from that. And then we did some more obvious designs down the road to where, maybe it depends on the parents who want to send their kids in what dress. I probably would, but yeah. So kind of how it evolved.
Yeah.
It's amazing because it really is the problem was solved for our family. A lot of the dresses that you want to buy for kids for creative play or dress up are a little too much to be able to wear out in public. And we had a daughter that she wanted to put them on and sing and dance all the
Oh,
time. And
sweet.
it just makes it a little bit easier because it's something that you can throw in the wash and things like that.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
something that we love. But the theme parks in particular, and a lot of our listeners are focused on Disney vacation planning and things like that, where it's unique is a lot of those bigger, bulkier dresses, kind of like the ones you can get at Bibbidi Boppity Boutique. They're not they're not something that are durable enough to be able to keep on all day and wear multiple days or things like that. Yeah, they're hot. So I think this kind of solves that problem too.
Awesome. Yeah, we're excited to, I mean, and we are like starting luxe lines that might be a little heavier for Disney, but we won't sacrifice the comfort, So yeah,
Mhm.
depending on, but yeah, we want to stay true to our original ones too, of hey, these are fairly lightweight, easy to wear and run and jump and play in. Yeah.
I'll
So
say this. So I have I'm a teacher as well. So
Oh, very
um, a,
cool.
a lady two doors down from me, I followed you on Instagram and I saw that she was followed, and I asked her, I said, tell me a little bit about this. I said, because I'm not the fashion one. That's my wife. She buys everything, and my kids are getting some Taylor Joelle stuff for Christmas. So,
Oh,
and I asked her, I was like, tell me about it, and she's like, my daughter goes through them like they're play clothes, and she said for Halloween she was 4 or 5 different characters. She said
oh,
I bought
that's so
20 dresses. She loves it.
sweet.
So it's phenomenal like that. I love the idea of, because we're summer. We go to the parks in the summer,
Mhm.
so I love the idea of getting my daughter's dresses. So
Oh, thanks. Yeah, one thing I wasn't like planning for and expecting, but it's kind of neat that a lot of customers collect the dresses because they resell really well. So they will own, some of them are like, I just bought my 30-second dress. And I'm like, or some have enough to wear, like where their daughter wouldn't have to trade a style for like months. And I, I was, wow, I didn't realize some people were collecting them, and I thought that was fun. Kind of like people collect Loungefly backpacks and things like that. So that was exciting.
it's a very cool community that you've built for sure. And there is a buyback program that you guys have. I've never looked at like the resale value because my daughter still wears all of hers. So we've never been in that position, but I did know that you guys have a buyback program that they can essentially sell it back to you within a year for a credit towards another dress, which I think is pretty cool. What when it comes, I'm also a lawyer, so I nerd out about this kind of
Oh,
stuff.
very cool.
And so I've got to ask,
Mhm.
what was the process like in acquiring a Harry Potter license? And separate from that, do you want to, or is there a goal to do Disney licensed stuff in the future, or are you going to stick more towards Disney inspired?
Okay, yeah. So Harry Potter kind of fell in our laps. And half of me is like, whew, like we got this email from Warner Brothers and we had a wizard dress on the site and got this email, and I kind of like tensed up. Like we try and make it safe, but I'm always, like a little nervous. And the email was just them reaching out asking if we wanted to be licensed. So they found
Wow.
us based on hashtags on Instagram, and they have been such a blast to work with. We just love our contacts there, and they're just wonderful. So that one thing I wish happened, like Universal and Warner Brothers, even though Universal Studios or the parks, they aren't associated with the Warner Brothers licensing. So I'm like, I would love to do photo shoots at the parks and all these things, but there's certain they're separate. And I'm like, oh
Okay.
shoot, yeah. But and then as far as Disney, I don't know how much I can say on this, but we're in the process. We've signing contracts and getting factories checked for, making sure they're compliant with everything. So we are in the final stages of a Disney license.
Exciting.
Yeah,
And again, just
confirmed yet?
for all those reasons you pointed out, I nerd out about that stuff just because it is an interesting area of things. But it's also just from the travel agent side of things, I also know that they're incredibly difficult licenses to get. And I think it says a lot about your brand that you're in that process. And it's really exciting that you guys are taking that next step,
Yeah.
especially with Disney. So
Oh, thank
congratulations on
you.
that
We're
front.
we're very excited, very nervous, all the feelings there. Yeah.
Elizabeth K submitted a question and said, how do you get the inspiration behind your designs for your shirts and dresses?
Yeah. So I'm not the only one that will design. Savannah on our staff also does the designing, and she has great ideas. So how do we get inspiration? Pretty much it's easy with Disney because you just look at the movies, you look at the rides, you like I almost always come back from a Disney trip with a new dress design. Like I saw a little girl dressed as a pirate and I'm like, pirate design, Pirates of the Caribbean, let's do this. Or, I saw women in cute Halloween candy corn dresses and I'm like, yeah, we should do a kids kind of candy corn vibe. And so just from, stepping off, I really, if we get licensed, I'd love to do like the Mickey snowman and gingerbread because they're so just being there and seeing the things that catch my eye get my, wheels turning. So, yeah.
To that end, how often do you go to Disney?
We go, well, we are first time pass holders as of, maybe 6 months ago. So we try and go when the first day something changes to get content for our business. We're trying to do a YouTube channel and tell me that is hard, but I'm like, I'm determined. We need to get content. We're going to figure this out. But so to get, content of the cute new things they have up, that's fun. So I'm guessing we will probably end up this year going maybe like 6 times or so. Yeah,
Very
possibly
fun.
more. Yeah, well, it's a really easy from Provo to California. It's a like 1.5 hour flight in the airports in our city. And it's just like we leave in the morning, we're there right after breakfast. So it's an easy, way to get
And
there.
so you are Disneyland pass holders. How
Yep.
often do you go to Walt Disney World?
Rarely. And in fact,
Rarely.
my husband does not like the heat. And so I'm a Disney World person. I love it and all the things. And especially like the resorts they have there with the fancy pools and all that. But my husband likes Disneyland way, way more. So,
Interesting.
and it's
That's
a lot
interesting.
cheaper to get to and convenient for us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be 4+ hours probably, right?
Yeah.
For
We
a
usually,
flight.
yeah. So
Yeah, that
at
can make
least
for a long
we
travel.
usually have to change a plane. Yeah. So it's a long day to get there.
So
So.
when you go through the process and say you've got a design, Asha from Wish was one that you guys did recently. You come up, the new movie's coming out, you get this idea, you design it. What's the process like between that point where you first see it and getting it to market? What does that look like?
This is not the norm. We are very blessed with a amazing factory and our contact tact at that factory just gets me. I could probably have my son with a crayon sketch out a dress and she would just make it happen. So that's not reality, but that's just the fortunate situation I'm in with this amazing factory. So I am not a designer. I will sketch on the iPad, but Savannah is fabulous and she knows all the design programs but we don't have to for a while we were producing some dresses in our actual city and I was like felt like I had just been spoiled because I have to go purchase the fabrics. Oh, you need me to purchase elastic and zippers and have a pattern designer grade each size, and right, like we have it pretty made and easy for the time being with our factory.
So essentially, you can send the design off
We
to your
can pretty much,
factory.
I could draw out a dress with colored pencils and take a picture of it, and she would, I mean, she sends me, I have tons of swatch books and all sorts of things, and we'll find like a trim online that we like and say, "Could you find a trim in your market that looks like this?" But it's really unprofessional, our process and system, but we're just spoiled with this person that can do all the legwork for us. Yeah. Mhm.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
once you get those designs back and you've got the either the first sample or you're essentially ready to go, what does it look like getting it to market? What is your social media
Mhm.
team and
Yeah.
all that behind the scenes stuff like?
Yeah. Um, One thing we're also spoiled in is timing. Before we found this factory, it would be okay. We wait, we place a deposit. Then, I mean, our design had to be so great because they've ordered the fabric and then we get our sample, and it's like anxiety. Hope this
Mhm.
is what I visualized, and then it's months to get the book to us. But our current factory right now is fast, so and we've got a pre-order model set up. So I potentially, if we're in a good flow with our factory, I could probably design a dress today and be ready to sell it next month. But it would have to go very smoothly, but yeah, it's a matter of, yeah, so she
Oh,
can be really really fast, our contact there, at getting things executed. So we're spoiled with that, but we've got fabulous marketing team. Our team, there's 26 of us, including my husband and I. My husband works full time for us as well. He quit his Amazon job, and I am not a good manager of people. I'm awful, and I hate to correct people, or I can't, I would be too scared to fire some, I just can't. So I don't handle people. My husband is fabulous at it, and they've got a wonderful warehouse team set up with, what is there, three, maybe four people on marketing. And then, we've got an in-house photographer there and shippers, and we've got a good setup.
awesome.
Yeah. Mhm.
Do you still have your family involved? Because I think I read online that like your
And
mom was
it's
involved.
a
She's got
blast.
18 grandkids or something.
Yes. So
Daughters involved and everything. Yeah, I was
It
reading that too.
it's so fun. My mom, when we need a surface pattern, she is a grandma pattern designer, and she's doing pretty well, really well for herself. She's great. And so we'll use her to do anything that needs a print, a fabric pattern. My husband and I work, and then all my kids except for my youngest Cohen, who's 10, come and work for Taylor Joelle. I have Cooper's our tech guy. He's great at Shopify and apps, and he's such a whiz with that stuff. And I have in this my 15-year-old, if these customers could know who they're communicating with on customer service, one of those is my 15-year-old son. And I'm like, oh, this is scary. Use AI a little bit in that email, making it sound professional. And then we've got Taylor. She dabbles in some designs, and she's in operations and also works with our storefront. And Bauer, he's 13 and just started shipping about a month ago. So yeah,
Very
and it's
cool.
just
Awesome.
like 5 minutes away, so they'll take their electric scooter or whatever to work, and so we love it. We love having everybody part of the process.
It's a very fun family business for sure.
Yeah, we
What
love
what, what are some of your favorite collections that you guys have done in the past?
Yeah. Okay, it was really fun. This isn't like a best-selling collection or anything, but it was really fun to do the Taylor Swift inspired eras dresses, because we're Swifties. Taylor and I saw her in concert, and it was just, I love things that create community, and people going to these Taylor Swift concerts. It's like, okay, what era are you going to dress in? And let's have friendship bracelets. Like, there was so much to it than just attending a concert. I noticed that with the Barbie movie too. Like, whoever did the marketing for that, genius. Everybody wore pink to the movie. Everybody's doing different real audios and trends. And so things that you can really get a big community excited about. And so Taylor Swift was fun because of all the things you could do with that. But I'm yeah, favorite collection, and we're just starting to do more cohesive collections. Usually it's just kind of random dresses. I really
Well, you
like
can give a favorite dress too.
yeah, the ones we launched for Black Friday that are a little more luxe, those might be my new favorite. They're high-waisted, really full. They're probably one of the heavier ones, but I really love how those turned out. Love how they look. Yeah.
I got to tell you, mine might have been the one that came out for Cyber Monday, the white one.
Oh, really?
I think that I was telling my wife, I think that might be my favorite one that I've seen, and
Oh, awesome.
it's gotta help that you guys have that experience with your manufacturer when stuff comes up like the Taylor Swift thing, because you can turn around something
Yeah.
really, really fast.
Yeah, we saw, like, Wednesday Addams on Netflix and her doing the viral dance, and we're like, "We gotta get that dress." Like, do something like that so kids can learn that dance, and yeah, so that is really nice having her be able to do things quick.
Yeah, I feel like that's right
I'm
up
not
your
gonna
guys'
lie,
alley.
the bluey hoodie for an adult might be purchased by the
Really?
end of this.
I
Like,
love it.
I'm looking at I'm like, "This is up my alley." I love it.
That's
We
awesome.
we went to the Halloween party and my daughter had the choice of because we were doing a Toy Story theme. So I wore the Woody Taylor Joelle t-shirt and my youngest sons both dressed as Buzz. And
Cute.
Haley had the choice of being Buzz like her brothers because you guys have a Buzz Lightyear dress, which is really cute, Buzz Lightyear inspired. And then there's also a Bo Peep one, and I was disappointed she chose Bo Peep. Not that it's not a great dress, but I wanted them to all be Buzz
The
Lightyear. But
Buzz.
the adult stuff is fun too, and,
I love Toy
uh,
Story theme. Yeah, that's the cutest collection.
especially for people that are going on vacation, like you mentioned, the Pirates of the Caribbean inspired or,
Uh,
a Tron inspired dress or
yes,
something like that.
Matterhorn,
Yeah,
yeah.
and so many like, I know you guys are Disneyland folks, but even resort inspired stuff
Oh, good
or Walt
idea.
Disney World,
Uh-huh.
there's just so many options, which I find to be interesting.
And more people are
Uh,
cruising now with the Wish cruises, so to do it's on our list to try a cruise line, outfits. Have you guys been on a Disney cruise?
Chips our cruise guy.
I love the cruise.
We have
I
never I went on a Disney cruise when I was 15 called the Big Red Boat,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's the last time I've cruised. I've never been on I want to, but we haven't done it yet. Yeah.
It's worth it. It's worth it. It was just my wife and I. We went this past year, but as soon as we got on the boat, she's like, "I wish our kids were here." It
Oh,
was just
what cruise did you do?
we did the Dream out of Miami for 4 nights, so
Nice. Okay, we need to while our kids are still hanging around
I
the
book a
house.
lot of them as a travel agent. I book a lot of them, but I can't. My wife and I are not cruise folks. I think
Yeah.
sometimes you got to be a different breed to get on a boat. Chip's working on me
Uh-huh.
because they love them so much, but
I think
we'll
they need
stick
to
to land.
do Disney because I'm an all-inclusive person. I love that. Why can't they do like a Disney all-inclusive resort? Like,
I mean,
Alani's not all. Yeah, I'm like that would
I
be
think
cool.
they're with the dining plan that they're coming back with in 2024. I think they're getting closer, particularly at Walt Disney World. But I agree with you. It's
Restaurants that are yeah. So you have like the cruise features, but you're just on land the whole time.
that would be ideal for me. That's for sure. So, how you go about 6 times a year and your kids are a little bit older now. When it comes to Disney and Universal parks, what are some of your favorite memories with you and your kids when you guys go?
Yeah. So we actually haven't been to Universal in a long time and recently. And it's funny because Universal's probably my favorite because I'm not a big thrill ride person. I like more like, oh, this is a cool, I don't like the make you sick crazy rides. But yeah, we haven't been to Universal in a while. And now that we have our pass to Disney, I'm like, oh shoot. So maybe when that runs out, we'll be more into Universal. But memories, I mean, one of my favorite vacations as a child was when we stayed at the beach club resort in Florida. That was the best place. It was like just taking the ferry ride over to the parks with my, teenage brother and going hitting a few rides, coming back and swimming. I loved that. And then as far as my kids, our favorite memory, we went to Disney World this year. It was several months back with my parents, and that was a lot of fun. And we went to, and I wish they had this at Disneyland. The I can't remember the exact name. Is it the Laugh Factory with
Mhm.
Monsters Inc?
Monsters
Yeah.
Inc. Laugh
That
Factory?
was so entertaining. And husband and my dad were wearing their monster shirts, and they got picked on the whole time. And the kids just were like cry laughing at the things they were saying and showing my dad on the big screen. And that was fun. And another memory that this dates me how old I am. Have you ever heard of, this is when I was a kid, Alien Encounters?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah.
guys know,
Oh
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Probably my best Disney memory. And some people will say it's their worst. I've talked to people on Instagram who had nightmares for a long time after that. But that was the best experience.
I never got to experience it. I'm only familiar with it just because we're so entrenched in Disney
Disney,
stuff.
yeah.
So, but I definitely wish that I would have gotten an opportunity to do it. That's
I,
for sure.
I sat outside while my brothers wrote
It was
it.
so scary. And I'm wondering if people nowadays with all the horror stuff would be as scared, but it was scary and I loved it.
Well, it's
That's
kind of crazy you
awesome.
say that because wasn't it right next to where Monster Inc. is now?
Oh,
It's the
Yeah.
old
might be.
Stitch Great Escape. Yeah.
I guess just that area. It just speaks.
There you go. When it comes to your moments in the parks, have you ever, and I feel like I saw this on your social media once, but I'm curious, have you guys ever been at Disneyland or Disney World and seen your dresses in the parks?
Oh, yeah, that's all the time. And it's
And
fabulous.
how does
So
that
fun.
feel?
It's awesome. And each time we go, we start seeing a little more. And so it's fun to see as we grow more and more dresses. And then it's hit or miss. Some days I'll see like, you know, 30 dresses around, and other days it's maybe just like five or six, but it's fun. And I always bring a stack of gift cards with me that if I see someone in the dress, I'll go up. And I get shy. So my kids this last time were giving me a hard time. And my husband, they're like, why won't you go up to them? Like, because I have the gift card, but I don't know. I like it when they can recognize me and come up and I'm like, here you go. But it's embarrassing sometimes to go up and be like, oh, Taylor Joelle, here's what,
Yeah.
So it's fun. But I got a little shy this last time. There were a lot I spotted that I'm like, I don't know. And it was a lot easier if I saw mom for some reason with the kid. When I saw like a dad, sorry, dads, do I, he won't know who I am. The moms are the
Yeah.
shoppers. But I did go up to a few dads this past trip and it was fun.
Do you
And
ever
it
just say? Do you ever see any like old dresses that you guys may not sell anymore, and you're like, oh, we need to bring that back?
Oh, yeah. I haven't noticed it. I mean, I've seen discontinued styles, but they've all been in the past couple years. Yeah.
Yeah.
But hopefully, as time goes by, I'll start seeing more of because they
Yeah.
hold up really well. So
For
hopefully,
sure.
they'll get lots of use out of them.
does it kind of trigger, a flashback to kind of all you've been through in your entrepreneurial journey to be able to say like, we started making crib bedding
Yeah,
in
I've been
six.
through I can't tell you how many times several years ago I Googled how to sell your business. Like,
Oh
it was
goodness.
so hard being an entrepreneur. We were struck because it's anxiety. Like, if you're not doing well, it's like, can we make our mortgage payment? Can we, because when, the husband quits his job and you're all in, that type of stress when you have bad months. I finally, to ease some of the burden, started teaching English to Chinese kids. And I would wake up at 4 in the morning and get on my little Zoom call like this and just anything to hustle and pay the bill. So it was exhausting. I felt like I was kept working so hard just to like lose money, like,
Mhm.
so we've been through some rocky, frustrating times, but as soon as we found the problem to solve, it hasn't been a struggle since. Ever since we started doing the princess inspired things, then it kind of skyrocketed.
That's
And
awesome.
and doesn't it just I guess how could you describe that feeling to go from that
Yeah, because we
to
were
seeing your
struggling.
dresses in the park and,
It's awesome. Yeah, it's really exciting. Yeah, it probably still doesn't feel real, but it's exciting. It never gets old to spot him at the parks. It's exciting.
how have you balanced kind of that life of being an entrepreneur and kind of all the things that you've been through with being a mom to 5 kids? You got 4 boys and 1 daughter. Your
Mhm.
daughter's your
Yeah.
oldest, right?
Uh-huh.
How do you
Yeah.
balance it all?
I don't do a great job, honestly, in balancing it all. I've kind of gotten better, but I think if I could go back, I'd do things differently. I feel like I'm not an absent mom where I'm gone at the office. I'm working from home. I'm don't lose my patience with my kids. I'm very kind to them, but I think I get so tempted to multitask. So I'm on my phone responding to Instagram DMs while Cohen's asking me a question. I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah," and I'm like, "I have no clue what he just said." And so it's really hard to like I rarely just sit down and will watch a movie. I'm like, I should be doing something at the same time. I'm a fabulous multitasker, but I don't think I even want to be. I'd love to just train my brain and be disciplined to be present in the moment. And I think that's where it's been hard when you take your work home, but then there's also you're an entrepreneur. Oh, the more I work, the more money I'm going to make. And the more, all this stuff is like in your mind, you're like, oh, I could be designing a dress while I'm, you know, watching this program with Cohen and that gets hard. And I'm not proud of that. So I'm learning what I would do and recommend differently, but I haven't done a great job. One thing that does help though is to get the kids excited about the business and involved. So, my boys have actually designed some dress elements for me. I'm like, oh, they're really good on Procreate on the iPad. We need a daisy to be embroidered on this collar. Will you design the perfect daisy? And so to get them working with us gets them interested. And so we're doing something together, at least. Yeah.
I joke with my wife that, like, when you work
Mhm.
from home, you live at work.
Yeah.
And that can be a blessing and a curse at the same
Hmm.
time.
Yeah.
So I
Hmm.
know exactly how you feel obviously an entrepreneur in a different front, but still the same. It can be frustrating for sure,
Yeah.
but it's awesome that you guys are able to get your kids involved in different things like that.
Thank you.
So what's next for Taylor Joelle in 2024?
Um, we are trying to do more aspects. So one thing, and I can't take credit for this. Obviously, I care about the environment, but my husband is pushing really hard to find ways we can reduce packaging. They've even tried like building their own mailers and we'll test it, mail something to us, and it's like falling apart. We're like, shoot, but we're doing more compostable bags and finding ways. They're trying to find labels that can biodegrade better. So that's been a big push is to try and be better for the planet. It's tough when you got to stack a bunch of dresses on a shelf. You need a bag around it, but it's like, oh, all that plastic. And so we're brainstorming ways. We want to try sweaters. It'll be a lot easier if we're licensed to be able to do like a sweater print to wear around the holidays. And then we just want to keep, we give ourselves goals. We want to grow 30% next year. And so that means more designs. So we'll have to have bigger collections and things as we approach that year. But we're really excited. And YouTube, we're going to focus on figuring out how to be a good YouTube business.
So yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
what
I
you got your
love it.
kids for.
Yeah, that's true. Here,
You
take
know
it
what?
over. Yeah.
Building on that a little bit, like I've noticed you're involved in your social media for your business, which is both interesting and I'm sure stressful. Who else is involved in kind of your social media team
Yeah.
and
We've got a
how do
great
you how do you delve that
team
out?
and they handle most of the DMs. And so I'll jump on the weekends and evenings, and sometimes throughout the day. If I'm not doing anything, I'll pick up my phone and respond. And they're great at content creating. So I could be totally absent from that if I wanted to, but I haven't wanted to. I wanted to still be involved in that. And that's my passion over design, over everything, was always like, you know, in high school even, I just loved marketing and use thinking of creative ideas. And so that one's hard for me to let go of. And then we kind of have approached for, always, I don't know why I do this, but then it's almost like I not a business account, because then it gets cold when it's just photos and this. So I've shared a lot of my personal life. So it's like influencer style mixed with business, and it's
Mhm.
worked. And then I'm afraid to, because we've built up and seen success with that I'm like, I'm afraid to just totally exit that. I'm wondering, I don't know. Maybe I'm like being too cocky, like it needs me I'm sure they do great without me, but that's been hard to let go of.
I think it does humanize your brand for sure. I mean, I think that's one thing that I've noticed and
Mhm.
I think is great about following you guys on social media is that you do have that human element and it's not cold. But when it comes to like the future of your content creation with YouTube, and I know licensing, you'd love to do things in the parks and that can be complicated. But like, where do you see the future of your marketing going? And I guess that takes me back to another question that I really want to ask is, you guys had a lot of these struggles that you've talked about in this interview and overcome a lot of them. Is there a specific point that you point to with either a specific product or marketing effort that really kind of took things into a different level for you guys? Or was it more of the day-to-day grind, getting better a little bit each day kind of thing?
Usually, I would say mostly day-to-day grind and building a community. For a long time, I haven't looked at data recently. I think it's not the case as much anymore, but we would have like over 100,000 followers there on Instagram and maybe a 10,000 follower group on a Facebook group. And more sales were coming from that Facebook group of loyal customers than our big. So cultivating a community has been a great thing for us, just continuing to. And I can't take credit for that. We have fabulous, in fact, I don't even get on Facebook as much as I'd like to, but we really have a wonderful community there, and they're really helpful with design advice and, like giving us direction, and they're really kind and wonderful. And then another big like pivot was when we for a while hired a Facebook ad agency, and that took us to a next level. That's actually when I went from just my husband and I'm like, I need an assistant, an employee, because we had our goods being shipped at a fulfillment center. We didn't need that, but I needed someone else to help me. And since then, our Facebook page got hacked, and some guy, my son was he likes the VR, and on my husband's account clicked on some Discord link, and some guy took complete over my husband's account, which was attached to our his personal page, which was attached to our Facebook page. I think they ranked up $20,000 in random ads that led to some sunglass page. And it's been since July. We still don't have, I had to just start a new random so we could start doing ads again. So we have been no Facebook ads. And I started up my first one very small, like a few weeks ago on this
Wow.
new page. So we've been without ads, and we still, I don't know what more we need to do, Facebook, to prove that we are not this person, who's
That's
taken over
terrible.
my husband's account and our ads account and locked us out, changed the emails and so everybody listening, you must do two-factor authentication. That would have prevented
Yeah.
everything.
Yikes, yikes.
Wow.
That stinks. Did you when you talk about the community that you guys have built, like my wife's in your insiders Facebook group, which I think is part of what you're referring to, like
Mhm.
the smaller community. Was that intentional when it very like when you first started building a community around your business? Was that intentional or was that organic, or how did that kind of get
A
rolling?
little of both. I really wanted a Facebook group and I had seen other brands have big success with Facebook groups and grow from there. And so I wanted that and I was on it all the time. And since we've grown, we have a dedicated employee that's strictly Facebook group. And so she's so good that a lot of times I don't even think about it, which I is not I want to be a part of there. Those are our loyal best customers and so I want to engage more in that group and it remind cuz they're fabulous. So we worked really hard in the beginning building that community and then it's just kind of organically grown.
That's pretty awesome. So long term, and this will be the last question before we jump into kind of some rapid fire fun stuff with you. But long term, where do you see Taylor Joelle 5 to 10 years from now? Or is that something where you're so stuck in the moment you haven't had a chance to breathe
Yeah,
and think
my
about
husband's
those?
much better at long-term vision than I am. Um, but if it weren't for him, we'd probably still do like one dress a month release. I like kept us in this little, and he's like, no, we need to grow. But yeah, I mean, I would love shout out to my daughter who she's in college and she doesn't want to do any sort of studies that involve anything to do with our business. But like, I would love her to work with me and be just as much of a part of things. But obviously, you see in the movies when the dad or mom pushes the family business on. So I'm hoping she'll come around and Taylor and I could work together like I work with my mom. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, okay, bucket dream goal, my husband and I've always said, and I don't know, actually I don't want to I should say this is going to happen.
Got to
Um
manifest it.
yeah,
Put it out
manifest
there.
that we will be in Disney stores.
I love
There
it.
you
I
go.
love
That
it.
would be
That is
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
And that I think that's a great goal and something I know I'd love to see for you guys for sure. But let's jump into we like to do little fun things with guests when they're on the show. Obviously, because it's a Disney and Universal vacation planning show, they're all going to be Disney related questions. It's going to be
Okay. I
rapid
hope this
fire,
isn't trivia because I'm very
not
not
trivia,
okay.
Not
not
trivia,
trivia.
no.
I wouldn't put you through
Disney
that. It's
trivia.
it's going to be favorites
Okay.
mostly.
So they won't think I'm
So
a fraud here. Good.
no, no fraudulent Taylor Joelle Disney fan. And again, you're creating Disney products, so there's nothing fraudulent about that. We'll keep it easy for you though. And since you are more of a Disneyland family,
Mhm.
you can answer Disneyland or Walt Disney World or Universal Hollywood or Universal Florida. We'll let you have kind of your reign of what you want to answer.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
So, first one, what is your all-time favorite ride at any Disney or Universal park and why?
Okay, I probably would say Soarin' over California just because it's an interesting experience. I wish I could go with anybody on their first time in that, especially a little kid who really thinks they're flying because it's just so realistic. I want, if anybody has kids going for the first time, just invite me along and I want to watch that kid the whole time. I think that's a cool ride.
They just brought that back to Disney in Florida for a limited time, and the
Oh, was
line,
it
like
gone? I didn't know that.
yeah, they switched the overlay, right? And so it wasn't over California, but they
Oh,
brought it back, and the line, I think the first day was like 2 hours,
oof.
It's
and I was like,
ridiculous.
I can't wait 2 hours for Soarin'.
Yeah,
I don't care
I'm
what
not a
video they're
line
showing
waiter.
me.
No.
Yeah, no, not for me. Chip, you got number two, bud.
Yeah. Which restaurant in Disney or Universal parks do you absolutely have to visit every time you go?
Hmm. This is gonna make people mad, but we're always like a Jamba Juice downtown Disney because it's like we get a little bit of nutrition in and we do that. But I always like, let me see. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, everybody, in advance. I like a Starbucks and Jamba Juice, and those aren't
That's
even
fair.
Disney
Are
specific.
there are there any Disney specific, like when you're in the parks, like
Yeah.
a park food that you like
Uh-huh.
that really sticks out to you?
Yeah. There's, and I'm gonna botch the name. What's the is shawarma? The Marvel one. What do you call the name?
Oh,
It's
the shawarma.
yeah, I'm a vegetarian, so they do a good like beyond, version and I love anything that has like a good pita wrap with some
Yeah,
spicy peppers and sauce in there. So I love that. Yeah.
There
nice.
we go. That'll get it. What do you think is a lesser known attraction or spot in Disney? And I guess you could have used your first answer of Soarin' for this. A lesser known attraction or spot in Disney or Universal parks that everyone should know about.
Hmm. Lesser known that everyone should know about. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to that Laugh Factory because I that was not on my radar. And one of Instagram DMs said, "Do this," and I'm like, "All right, okay." I hadn't done it, and that was the best. Also, I'm sad this isn't in California anymore, but so it had been years since I've seen it, and I saw it again, and I'm like, "This is genius." The Bugs Life 3D movie. Like, there's never a huge wait, and that is so, I mean, it can scare little kids, but I just think it was so
S-
funny and smart,
Scares
and the way
scares
they
me.
yeah, I love that one.
I think Laugh Factory is actually a really good hidden gem,
Yeah,
especially
why
at
don't they have
Disney
that in
World.
California? Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
I
it.
think that's a great choice.
All right. If you could stay at any Disney or Universal resort without worrying about the cost, which one would it be and why?
I think Beach Club because it's nostalgic. I don't know, maybe it's not even cool anymore, and it's one of the lesser one. I don't know, but in my mind, when I stayed there as a teenager, it was so fun and amazing. So I
Well,
love it.
Beach awesome. Yeah.
I
Okay,
was gonna
so
say
it's still good?
I'm hoping to book it tomorrow for my DVC points.
Oh,
So
I hope so. Yay. Fun. Yeah, I picked that over Grand Floridian. We stayed there fairly recently, and I'm like, I like the beach club. Yeah. The big
That's
pools.
awesome. So and you went to Disney World this past year and stayed at the Grand Floridian?
We stayed there maybe 2 years ago. This past year we just did a close by Marriott that we would walk to. Uh-huh.
Gotcha, gotcha. When you guys went earlier this year, like which parks did you guys do and
Mhm.
kind of what was your favorite part of your vacation?
When we went to Florida,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, we hit all the parks, and I would probably say, oh, the Hollywood Studios is my favorite. I loved that. That's where I first discovered the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad, which is now at
Yeah.
Disneyland. But I was like, this is the cutest ride ever. I loved doing that one. That was so fun. And then least favorite and most favorite was we did Epcot this last trip, and I like and my parents were with us, and they were kind of miserable and hot, and we were going through where it's so crowded and we have to like eat standing up because they're like, this sucks. And then we went to like some other side. I'm not super familiar with Epcot, but I where kind of no, the new ride, is it a Guardians of the Galaxy ride? I
yep.
get motion sickness, so I waited outside and my family loved it, but I'm like, that area was so much better and more space, and I'm like, "Oh, we could have sat there and ate, and this looks like good food." And so I want to go back because now I would appreciate Epcot more than just doing the country crowds.
Well, the walls are coming down, starting to come down too. So it'll open it up a
Good,
little bit
good.
more too.
Mhm. Yeah.
When it comes to like your kids or your team, just
Mhm.
because I know that this is how I would be, do they ever come to you and they say, we need to go just because we need inspiration? We need to be in the
Mhm.
parks and get inspired. Do you ever hear any of that from your team or your kids?
My my goal is to take team members. I'm hoping we need to set some like goal, and if we reach that goal, we're going to take you guys and we'll get maybe even custom Taylor Joelle shirts
There you
made or
go.
something.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's a goal, to at least take the management level, and I'll go with families.
You need it for the YouTube channel. That's the plug.
Hundred
Of course, yeah.
You
For
got to
our
shoot the
yeah,
content.
for our 5 viewers, yeah. But my kids are kinda spoiled. They're like, some of them sit it out when we go now because it's so familiar to them, and they were just there a couple months ago, so they don't get super excited like they used to, which is, I'm
And
like,
their
"We wanna go
teens living their
often,"
lives too,
but
right?
yeah,
I'm sure
so
that's part of it.
Yeah. So they're not pressing to go and get ideas, but I'm sure our team would. Some of them haven't been, and it's almost kind of funny because Savannah hasn't been to Disney since I think she was a kid, and she edits a lot of my videos, and she'll do voiceover as if it's her talking on one of the videos and she gets it totally wrong. She's like, "Here at California Adventure." I'm like, "Oh shoot. Oh no." Like she'll get it wrong. I'm like, "We need to get Savannah to Disney and let her see it cuz yeah, we definitely feel like a fraud."
I'll tell you, for your kids, you need to take them on the cruise. That would change
Okay.
everything. Take them on a
Okay.
cruise.
And do you think for teenagers, cuz most of them now are all of them but one are teens. So
Oh,
they would
my wife and I, we went through every room, like of the little
Mhm.
kids all the way up, and it was awesome. And there's stuff to
Okay.
do all the time. Yeah.
Well, Cohen has been saying, he told me for the first time a few days ago, going on a cruise would be my dream. And I'm like, I've never heard you say that ever. And he's like, yeah, since I was like 7, I've always wanted to go on a cruise. And so my
Well,
husband's like, we need to get him on a cruise. Yeah.
he
So,
spoke to
I,
me. I'm talking it into existence.
there you go.
yeah.
I would say that, like, for me personally, that's kind of what I see more is as kids get older, they start to transition to Universal and to cruises.
Hmm.
And I think part of that is parents' comfortability with their kids being on a cruise.
Hmm.
You know, like if you have a balcony and having little kids, regardless of how safe it is, it gives a little anxiety, I think,
To
for any
always
parent.
be watching and know where they are is exhausting. Yeah. Hmm.
Exactly. And so like when you've got there's different, kids areas for
Hmm.
every different age level, and you
Yeah.
feel more comfortable letting them explore the ship and make friends and
Hmm.
go kind of do their own thing. Like on the one hand, they're not leaving the boat,
Yeah.
so they can't go too far. But on the
Hmm.
other hand, like you don't have to sit and keep an eye on them all the time
Yeah,
like you
as
would with
long as
little
we get
kids.
them for family dinner, we're good. Go have your fun. Yeah. Mhm.
Exactly. And you get that all inclusive
Yeah.
aspect that you
There
that you
you go.
mentioned.
Yeah,
So
we love all inclusives. We're doing
Jenny,
that over Christmas.
Jenny, thank you so much for
Yeah,
being on the
thank
show. We
you.
really appreciate it. And so, just to kind of let people know, for anybody that's not familiar, that maybe one of our listeners, TaylorJoelle.com is one of the best places to shop to buy your products. Where else can people find you on social media?
Instagram is where we're most active. So, yeah, check us out on Instagram or join our Facebook group. We've got 2 groups, one for just anyone and one specific for if you've made a purchase. That's the Taylor Joelle Insiders group to get some added inside information and discounts, but also what's called Taylor Joelle Love is a great community too.
Wonderful. Thank you again. That's going to wrap it up for this episode. If you have any comments or questions, don't hesitate to reach out to any of us on social media or via email. I can be found at Adventures of a Disney Dad. Chip, where can people find you?
At Robinson Dad Life.
And if you're interested in having me assist you in planning your next Universal or Disney vacation, please feel free to reach out. All the links to get a free quote will be in the show notes. Our services are completely free to you, and we'd love to help you plan your next dream vacation, whether it's a cruise like we talked about today or Walt Disney World, Disneyland. We can do it all. If you have a moment and you could follow, subscribe, like, and review the podcast on whatever platform you prefer, we would greatly appreciate the support. We know you have a lot of choices when it comes to content that you consume, and we hope this episode brightened your day and you learned a little bit about such a great brand that our family cares about, the podcast cares about. And we wish you best of luck in the future, Jenny. Can't wait to see where you guys go with everything. So thank you again.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you.